Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together we are Minting Coins, your trusted source for crypto news, interviews, and ICO reviews. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for being here. Hit that like button. It really supports us and it helps other people find this content. Also, if you have any questions or comments as we go over the information in today's show, leave those in the comments box below so your voice is heard as part of the community. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about the future of the global currency economy, and we're going to be talking about the current real-life situations that people in the United States are facing, people in the world are facing, and the exact point where these two worlds are coming to collide. We live in very curious times, very interesting times, very exciting times, and I am so excited to be here and to be part of this conversation, to be sharing this information with you. And I'm really happy that you're here with me as well to learn about this information. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those in the comments box below. Check us out on Discord, check us out on social. We are really excited to bring further announcements from the channel on what we're doing in the future. But for now and for this show, let's dive into the news and let's discuss. So starting off real quick, just to touch upon a couple pieces of news, we have over here in Cointelegraph.com, they're talking about Tether, which we've been talking about more and more recently, helping to warn people about the risks involved with using the Tether token. That Tether recently has created over 146 million new Euro USD tokens based on the Ethereum blockchain. This is going to allow them to have better liquidity because these ERC20 Tether tokens are going to allow for easier interoperable exchange with the Ethereum-based protocols and dApps, while allowing the users to transact with fiat currencies across the Ethereum network. But this isn't without risk. We see this as just Tether creating more tokens and just more tokens being created, which may not be living up to the original mission, vision, and purpose of the Tether token. Additionally, just keep in mind that both Tether and Bitfinex unsettled the market several weeks ago when news of an existing subpoena request was sent to both of those companies. Some people have been speculating that Tether and Bitfinex may be working together for the printing of tokens, and then now perhaps these tokens, and then using this creation of token in the market, this creation of Tether currency in the market to manipulate the markets. And this is more risk for people to be aware of. Recently, we talked about patents. We talked about all the patents that are being filed, and some people were asking us about the patents in the comments box of that video. I just wanted to touch upon the fact that Bank of America has filed more cryptocurrency patents than any other company. So what's going on here? Well, originally, people who were involved in the cryptocurrency space, the cyberpunks, were more interested in freedoms and open source technology than filing patents and closely guarding their secrets. This is really about open source technology, giving everyone access to information. And the only information that was originally hidden from people and by Satoshi was Satoshi's own identity. Well, now we have a lot of companies and a lot of organizations that are seeking to control information, control technology, and who can use this technology in the future. So a little bit of background information here. First of all, since Bitcoin's Genesis block in 2009, 9 years ago, over 2,000 related patents have been filed. And in the cryptocurrency's early years, the number of patents was low. About less than 50 patents a year were being filed. But we could see here by this graph and the number of patents that have been filed in the different publication years that there's been this explosion of new patents being filed starting in 2015, 2016, into 2017. And we could probably expect to see the number of new patents being filed to further increase into 2018 is what we would expect to see. Last year, we saw a total of 1,250 cryptocurrency patents filed. And out of all of these patents that were filed, Bank of America is the #1 filer of these patents. We have Bank of America, 45 patents, EITC Holdings, 42 patents, CoinPlug, 39 patents. Then we have Alibaba, IBM, Enchain Holdings, Bubai Technology, MasterCard International, Hangzhou Fuzami Technology, and Hangzhou Yufat Network Technology. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those correctly, but just to give some perspective of which companies have these patents, and we've seen Bank of America and MasterCard and IBM at the top of this list is really, really interesting. And it's interesting because what a patent is and what a patent typically does for a company, why a company spends typically tens of thousands of dollars, give or take, sometimes way more, on filing these patents. Well, it's because a patent grants its holders the exclusive rights to an invention, such as a piece of technology, and it gets these exclusive rights for a certain period of time. And so the patent was created as a means of protecting people's intellectual property so they could have a chance to develop new technology and then to bring that technology to market without a competitor simply leveraging all the money and hard work that someone spent typically years and years and years into developing something, and then for a competitor just to take it and then create good marketing and reap all the rewards. But the situation that we've come to be living in is that a lot of times companies may apply for overtly broad patents or patents for technologies that may not even really exist yet, and then use skilled lawyers to prevent anyone from encroaching upon those patents, preventing any one person or company from using those patents, unless, of course, they were to pay a licensing fee or buy those patents, which creates huge barriers for innovation when people are independently developing this technology and altruistically moving forward to actually create something. They're reaching these barriers from these companies that have these patents that are preventing them from continuing the development. A couple last quick notes on the patents. Just because the company has a lot of patents doesn't mean that they're experts on the patent. It just means that they're really good at filing patents. Also, number 2 on the list, the EITC Holdings, which has filed 42 patents, is synonymous with Craig Wright. If you're not familiar with Craig Wright is someone who claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, even though it would be really easy to prove if he was Satoshi, because all he would have to do is to send a message or send a little bit of Bitcoin with Satoshi's Bitcoin. The true Satoshi would be able to move Satoshi's Bitcoin. If he wants to prove that he's Satoshi, move some of that Bitcoin, and then he'd be able to prove it. He hasn't done that, therefore he is not Satoshi. Last interesting point is that out of all of these patents, this Bitcoin patent report reveals that 50% of all of these crypto-related patents come from China, about 910 of them, followed by the number of patents coming out of the US, which is 2/3 of that, 676, and then the UK, 112, South Korea, 98. So a lot of patents are being created, a lot of technology is being thought of, and this is probably a precursor to the explosion of technology, a leading indicator of the new businesses and the new technology and the new development that's going to be coming into the cryptocurrency space. Looking at this article from ccn.com, Spain's government is preparing to lower blockchain firms and ICO issuers because there's more and more countries that want to get into the space. There's more and more countries that want to kick up, increase, facilitate, encourage, amplify the economic development of blockchain technology with the educations, the jobs, the businesses within their country's borders. And so what we see is Spain's government thinking about this, trying to think how can they create possible tax incentives, how can they create provisions wherein a cryptocurrency investment under a certain upper limit wouldn't need to report to the country's regulators. And they're quoted here as saying, lawmakers are quoted talking to Bloomberg saying the level of digitalization for companies will be key and that they hope to get the key legislation ready this year. Because essentially they want to set up Europe's safest framework to invest in ICOs, not just for the consumers, but also for the businesses to want to launch ICOs and blockchain companies from Spain's borders. We're seeing this trend kick up Russia already started this. This is already happening in cities like Dubai, and more countries are going to realize the economic potential of this brain power, this manpower, these corporations being opened up locally and not developing this global borderless technology somewhere far, far away. So what's happening here is that we're recognizing countries like Russia, countries like Spain are thinking how they can facilitate blockchain companies and blockchain technology within inside their borders. We see more patents being developed in China than in the United States. And then we have companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, and other people on his board who are saying that Bitcoin is going to go to zero, that it's disgusting how people are buying Bitcoin. And so Berkshire Hathaway's vice chairman, Charlie Munger, is describing Bitcoin as being totally asinine, calling it the Bitcoin craze, and saying that it's just disgusting that people are taken in by something like this Bitcoin, and that our government's lax approach to it is wrong. And what Charlie says is the right answer, what the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway says the right answer is to step on things that are bad, like Bitcoin, for the government to step on them hard, and for the government to squash them. Warren Buffett in January said that he can say with almost certainty that Bitcoin will come to a bad ending. And so we just see this coming out, continued FUD, not just from Berkshire Hathaway, previously Jamie Dimon, previously lots of other people who are saying bad things about Bitcoin, pushing Bitcoin out of America, pushing Bitcoin out of their communities, out of their business models, out of their country, and then allowing the total growth of the market to happen other places. And what we think would be best is if everyone was involved in the conversation, if every country was involved in the conversation, if everyone was allowed to participate in the industry, participate in this new economy without worrying about regulators coming down hard on people, and also perhaps having the regulators there to create minimally safe conditions to the best of the abilities that the regulators can help with, without going into the realm of preventing the average person from holding Bitcoin at all. I suppose we have best case scenarios, I suppose we have worst case scenarios, but just looking at the facts of today, we have some leaders in the industries around us who are making decisions for millions and millions of people all around the world who are pushing Bitcoin away, who are squashing this technology without understanding it. And contrary to them, on the opposite side of them, we have other business leaders like Tim Draper who are saying, why would they sell Bitcoin when Bitcoin is the future of currency? So there's diametrically opposing viewpoints here from different perspectives of the same leaders of industry. So let's see specifically what Tim Draper says. And so what he says here is that a very large portion of the current $86 trillion global currency market will be crypto in the future. And so what is a very large portion? A very large portion in air quotes. Well, a majority in my mind would be 51% is a majority. A vast majority would be, let's say, 63 to 75%. And so a very large portion is, could that be as little as 25%, 50%? So 25% of 86 trillion is about $20 trillion. And, just to give us some sense of where he may be thinking, but that's what he's thinking. He's looking at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency very different because he says that Bitcoin is the future currency. People are asking Tim Draper, are you going to sell your Bitcoin for US fiat or for, country-based fiat? And Tim Draper says, why would he sell the future for the past? And this is the direction he's moving. Further, Tim Draper was asked whether he thought volatility was a problem for regular people and just for anyone who has to worry about volatility. A lot of people are concerned about volatility. What does Tim Draper think? He says that his Bitcoin is more secure than the dollars in the bank. His Bitcoin is very secure. He's placing the security of Bitcoin, the security of the blockchain technology, much, much higher than the risk of volatility. So the risk of volatility is down here, but the fact that the blockchain has never been hacked is more important to him. He realizes that the banks have been hacked over and over again, and that the Bitcoin blockchain is like nothing that anyone has ever seen. It's very difficult for people to understand how it's different, why it's different, and the benefits of those features that make blockchain technology a revolutionary technology. So that's Tim Draper's perspective. He's asking, why would he sell the future, which is Bitcoin, for the past, which is fiat? And so let's check out this other article from ccn.com, where New York Fed economists talk about Bitcoin's role in a centralized world. And so what was happening at this event is that the New York Fed economists were taking the tack that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are gearing up to compete more directly with fiat currencies in the future. And what these Fed economists are quick to argue is that if we lived in a dystopian world without trust, then Bitcoin might dominate existing payment methods. But in this world where we currently live, where people do tend to trust financial institutions to handle their payments and central banks to maintain the value of money, it seems unlikely that the Bitcoin could ever be as convenient as existing payment means. And so real quick, do we live in a world where people tend to trust financial institutions to handle their payments? I mean, I realize we have to trust them, but do we actually trust them? Do we remember what happened in 2008 or in 1984 or in any of the dozens of economic crashes over the past 100 years? So they say that trust is what makes the centralized money system tick. And so if there's an event that happens where people don't trust the centralized money system, or where more people don't trust the centralized money system, then is that going to make the current system less appealing and the Bitcoin system actually more appealing? There seems to be that they're making the case for why Bitcoin is strong and why Bitcoin has strength. So we have some parts of the world that are pushing Bitcoin away. We have some parts of the world that are seeking to bring Bitcoin in. We have some leaders of industry that want to step on Bitcoin and squash it. We have other leaders of industry that are recognizing that Bitcoin is the future of the global currency market and that fiat is the past. Love to know, what do you think? Do you think that the fiat global currency market is going to completely go away? Or do you think it's going to exist in some form? Maybe it's just going to evolve to be fiat crypto, while a huge portion of the global market, the global currency market, will continue to increase to become more cryptocurrency. Or do you think that cryptocurrency will go to zero? I suppose it's either going to go up, go down, or stay the same, and it remains to be seen. Also, like, how long do you think it's going to be until Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, or their chairman turns around about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Or do you think that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and maybe they're just never going to get with the Bitcoin program? So I would love to know what you think. Leave those questions in the comments box below. Like this video, and until next time, I'm glad that together we are minting coins.